Welcome in to Rebound Off the Net. I'm your host, Joshua Cox, and today we have a very special guest. We are joined by the Director of Player Personnel and the Offense and Defensive Line Coach for the Orlando Predators, Mr. Marcus Manuel. Coach, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
First off, Coach, tell us a little bit about you, your journey, your background, and how you got involved in this brand of football and ended up with the Preds.
Okay. Well, I've been involved in sports pretty much all my life, man. I was a dual sport guy and, throughout college and a little bit afterwards. And, um, stumbled into coaching after a while. And I've coached everything from minor league football to high school. And, I didn't know what direction I wanted to go, as far as college or anything. And then, I had a buddy of mine, Barry Wagner, Arena League legend, who, one day he came to me and he's like, man, you should really try to coach with the Predators. And, I hadn't really put thought into it. And next thing you know, I was on the phone with Ben Bennett, who was the head coach at the time, and met with Ben. And everything kind of took off from there, and that was about 5 years ago, and I've been with the organization since.
You were with the Preds through a tough last season. How do you think you get back to winning football this year, and what's the path like to get there?
First of all, I definitely think we got to change the culture. These last couple of years have been real tough for us, as you and everyone knows. Not winning the games that we should. And I think, there's definitely a change in culture this year, bringing EJ Burt, in as the head coach. Players love him, and I think that he's going to help change that culture back to the old Predators ways. Especially with him being a Predator guy, an old arena guy. He's gonna help steer it back. We brought in a good coaching staff, Coach Scipio, bringing Coach Rickerson back. All guys that, players love to be around. They have a amazing love for the game and, just the desire to win and change the culture here. And I think that that's going to be huge, and that's going to, help us change the culture and get us on a winning track. As you can see, we've signed a really good roster, man. Our roster is talented, so this is definitely an exciting time.
Yeah, you talked there about EJ Burt being installed as your new coach. What do you think he brings this year that you were missing last year? And what is it like working with?
Um, for me, me and EJ came on board at the same time, so I've had the pleasure of working with him, 4 or 5 years now. EJ is a man of little words, but a lot of action. When he doesn't say much, but when he does speak, you're with him. And I think he is a guy that players want to play for. He understands the game. He understands the arena game. He understands players, and he understands what needs to be done to help turn this program around, this organization around. And I think that that's what he brings, and that's what he's going to do this season.
Tell us a little about your role as the Preds Director of Player Personnel and what all that entails.
Okay, so for me, a lot of film, a lot of film. I'm reviewing. Every time someone is sending film in, I'm reviewing the film and taking a look at it. A lot of talking with players. Um, Trying to gauge where they are and see if they're a good fit. A lot of going back and forth with coaches, on different players to see, who's the right fit. A guy could be a talented ball player, but is he the right fit? Is he the right fit for what we're trying to do? So, a lot of film. I look at a lot of film, man, a lot of evaluating, um, a lot of phone calls, a lot of, communication with communicating with coaches, and to help build a roster. I'm also negotiating contracts, trying to make sure that we stay within budget. And I also deal with all the player issues. So anything, football wise with players or anything, I'm dealing with player issues, and I'm also dealing with things from a football operation standpoint. So, um, my responsibilities are, run deep, and I wouldn't have it no other way.
What makes a player the right fit for the Preds?
Um, for me, is he coachable? Um, is he coachable? Does he is he willing to learn? Is he, willing to come in and work hard? And, does he want to be here? That's been the biggest thing for me when recruiting and talking to guys this off season was I want to make sure we have guys that want to be here, that want to be a part of the team. And it's not just about the money. It's not just about, um, how many stats you can put up. They want to be here. They want to be a part of a team and want to help this team be successful. And those are the things that I look at when evaluating if a player is a good fit. Character. You got to look at character. Um, what type of man is he? What type of individual is he? Those are all things that I look into. I have a lot of conversations with guys and just general conversations just to kind of get an understanding for them because, you may have been an all-star last year, like I said, but that doesn't mean you're a good fit. So I want to, have a little conversation with you, talk to you about your situation and what you have going on to see if you're a good fit.
Yeah, how's both your offense and defensive line shaping out so far? Tell us a little bit about some of the guys you've signed and so far, and how far you got to go with those signings.
Oh man, we've signed a number of guys. Definitely very stacked on both sides of the ball. We were fortunate to sign a few guys that were um, you know XFL guys. And then we signed a number of guys with NFL experience. I mean, not in, well, we do have a couple guys with NFL experience. We've signed Michael Robinson, who was a top player. Um, Emmanuel Linga, who's joining us from the XFL. Freddie Booth Lloyd, who my money is on, is probably the best defensive lineman, in the league. Um, and we re-signed Daquan Murray, who's been our center the last few years, who's kind of steered the offensive line, and he's getting him back has been a big thing, and Travis Alvarez, man. Like I said, I can go on and on about this group. We really have put a really good group of linemen together.
There's a lot of fans that listen to this show that's new to the AFL. Tell us a little bit about the differences in the offensive line, defensive line, and the AFL game compared to the outdoor game.
So with the AFL, most of our guys are playing. Well, not most of them, but they're going to be playing um, both ways. So it really tests guys' ability. So they have to be able to the more that they can contribute both ways, the more valuable they are. So we're gonna have a number of guys. You'll see him playing both ways. You'll see a guy who's a really good offensive lineman, and he'll come and get a sack on the defense. Or get some stops. So it's really a good sight to see. Um, because like I said, it really tests these guys' ability. Can you play both ways? And it kind of takes it back to old school football when we were kids playing outside, and you're you're on one team going both ways. So it's pretty cool.
What are your goals for both the O line and D line, and what do you believe both lines need to accomplish to get to where you want to go?
For m- for me, my main emphasis is the offensive side of the ball. So, I want our guys to be able to protect our quarterbacks. Give them 3, 4, 5 seconds to get rid of the ball. A couple years ago, I would say it's safe to say that we probably had the least sack quarterback in the league a couple years ago. And we got to get back to that, really protecting our quarterback offensively. And then when it's time to run the ball, being dogs up front and really getting that push and being aggressive. Um, that's from an offensive standpoint. From a defensive standpoint, of course, is to create havoc on the defensive line. We have to create havoc. And I think that with EJ's guidance, being a former all league arena player, he'll be able to coach these guys to where they need to be. But yeah, we need to be aggressive defensively. I definitely think we have the players to lead the league in sacks. So that's those are goals that we need to have for this season.
What are you most excited about? You've been in the NAL the last few years. What are you most excited about in joining the or the NAL the last few years? What are you most excited about in joining the AFL?
Bringing that, oh, no disrespect to the NAL, to the IFL, to any of the other leagues. No disrespect to them at all. But just being a part of the Arena Football League, the original Arena Football League, and seeing that come back, although it's a different group, just being a part of the league and seeing it return and being a part of it is what I'm really looking forward to, and I'm excited about it. Um, I'm excited about the exposure that these guys are going to get, the organization's going to get. We have some televised games, so I'm excited that exposure and the opportunity for these guys to really showcase their skills, and really, for the world to be able to see. I'm just really excited about that.
You opened up the season against Albany. They've been your rivals in the NAL, and it's been 25 years since the Predators and Firebirds played in the Arena Bowl. What are you most excited about that opener?
No, I wouldn't. I think people put more on it than what I do. Personally wouldn't characterize Albany as our, rivalry. Um, but I understand that that's what people say. I think Coach Ware is gonna do a fantastic job up there. They obviously re-signed Darius Prince, who's an awesome ball player. Um, they've re-signed. They got Des Maxwell, who's with us. They have a solid roster. So I think that they're going to really do some really great things up in Albany, and I expect them to be in it towards the end. Be it the championship or at least the playoffs. It's going to happen. I'm excited to play them, but to me, it's another game. It's the first game of the season and an opportunity for us to set the expectation and set the tone for the rest of the season. So I'm not putting any more emphasis in the first game than I am the second, third, or whatever have you. Like I said, at the end of the day, I do expect to see them in the playoffs, possibly the championship. I think it will be exciting for arena football, and if it happens, let's get it. Let's go.
Last question for you, Coach. We're just about a month and a half from camp starting. What's coming up for the Preds, and what you all still need to get done before camp?
Well, right now our roster is pretty full. Um, we got a couple pieces that we want to fill in, here and there. Um, a couple little final pieces, but for the most part, our roster is full. So we have a couple more opportunities to evaluate available players that we're going to be taking advantage of. So we're going to do that to see if once again there are any other guys that might be a good fit and can come in and maybe take a roster spot or whatever have you. So that's pretty much the last few pieces we have, and then from there just getting together as coaches to make sure the game plan is intact for camp, and we are ready to go and locked in.
Absolutely, Coach. We look forward to that opener against the Albany Firebirds. Thanks for joining
Yes,
us.
yes, indeed.